is up.
I'm up. Okay, thank you all. And as you mentioned earlier, I wanted to update the audience. We did a tour with the board members and some of our very critical, our key team members, including Mortensen, Leggett, and Patrick Heyer, and Pat Argadelis. And anyway, we did a tour of the cafeteria, the cafeteria, the core renovation, and the new student development, Welcome in One Stop. And I would encourage any of you, if you want to see what's behind the walls, you've heard us talk about that, if you like CLC's Facebook page, I know there's a link there that there is a tour that was conducted. So it will give you a chance to see what's going on behind those walls and get a good look at the CLC construction. And so we are familiar with the scope. We've seen the, as I said, the cafeteria, the cafe, and the student development areas just now, and we saw South Lake last month. What I'm going to be primarily giving the update on right now, and it's just a few slides, is just a brief update on where we're at on the master plan budget. So the first slide up here, I know that's a lot of numbers, but I wanted to put that up there as a reminder of the August 26th, 2014 budget details. So this is what you saw almost 2 years ago regarding the master plan construction program. The two really key numbers I'd like you to remember for the next slide are the A and B projects come to $61,276,550. Obviously, that's the biggest share of the master plan construction that I am managing on behalf of the College of Lake County. But overall, total budget was $87,354,669. So if I go to the next slide, the master plan budget summary that you see there is, I think you've heard me mention Projecto. It's a project management system that we use to track your schedule and your budgets of all the master plan projects. But you can see in the bold on the green table on the left, the total A and B projects, $61,276,550. So that is exactly the same number you saw before. The alignment of the money now is structured based on our actual contracts that are executed rather than being put together based on scope of work, like classroom renovation, for example. It's now they are all lined up based on the contracts executed, but the number is still exactly the same. No change since the board meeting in August of 2014. And then the South Lake Chemistry Lab, the budget we're at right now is a little over $2.1 million, and geothermal is at 4.2. At our last meeting, we talked about moving some money from geothermal to cover some additional fees, and when the South Lake Lab was approved, it was approved with a construction cost of roughly $1.8 million and a budget of $1.5, and we were directed to move the money from other master plan projects. And geothermal is the one project that has come in significantly under budget. Now there's a reason for that I won't get into too much of the wonky detail on this, but the original design for the geothermal project envisioned a loop around the entire campus. The actual engineering of that is, if you don't think loop, think spoke. So it's a main into the central plant basement, and from there it is planned for branching out. And you know, it really, not only did the project come in significantly under the original anticipated budget, but the horsepower for our pumps is reduced significantly. So that's been a real win to the college. A great system, under budget, and it's also nearly completed. That's just one final length of pipe, and we've got to fill it. Then the current total budget that you'll see there is the $826.14 budget. It's still the $87,354,669 that you saw in the prior slide. There's been a slight addition of an iGen grant that we were able to get for $56,275, and that was with the iGen people here who had started that process and helped us get that grant. And so that gets us to total current budget, 87,410,944. And that blue highlighted box, at the bottom line of all these projects, 87,410,944. That's what I refer to with my team as our magic number. That does not change. That is not changing. And so that's where we're at right now. I heard you talking about some lobbying and so forth in Springfield. So I want to make a little pitch here. I know that you're talking about bigger numbers in your lobbying, but my colleague Lakeisha Lindsay put together a very, very extensive grant application for DECIO. Nick is aware of this. We've copied him on it. But that grant potentially could get the college $336,000 for your lighting replacement, for your VFDs, your variable frequency drives, for the high-tech equipment, the state-of-the-art mechanical equipment in your central plant. It's funded by your utility bills, like 10 cents out of your utility bill goes to fund these DECIO grants, but the state responded saying, we got it, but we cannot do anything with this due to the state budget crisis. So just wanted to make you aware of that we are pursuing that and hope to be able to bring $336,000 back to the college.
Is that a competitive grant?
Or
do you just meet the guidelines?
You meet the guidelines. It's a very wonky application. That your input connected watts, what they were, now what they are, and then it's a spreadsheet.
So again, if in fact the state approves a budget, that would probably then move along the release of funds for this application.
Maybe. What they've done in the past is they've swept these funds from time to time. I don't know if they would go unswept.
So
we'd have to see.
Kind of wonky, right?
Kind of wonky. I'm kind of wonky, I find. So and here's the quick update. South Lake Chemistry Lab, we have just a few loose ends to finish up there. They're working on punch list, but the total change orders are approximately 2% of the contract on that job. And they will be done with the punch list in time for summer session if they do run classes in there, just as planned. The cafe edition, of course, you saw that. This is just kind of recapping where we're at on the contracts. The June 23rd, 2015 board approved $25,041,470. They just so I'm being clear here, just the GMP means guaranteed maximum price. So we do have a GMP contract for the cafeteria addition and the A and B remodel with Mortensen. The unspent contingencies and allowances on that project are about $2.7 million. We are going to next month come with a recommendation to the board for a change order credit on this project of $1.7 million to be reallocated to the A and B remodel GMP2 budget. This is for board review and discussion, but here's the rationale behind that. The GMP2 is the A and B remodeling. It's 200,000 square feet of heavy renovation, and we are encountering, as you often do with renovation, we're opening cans of worms. So to be prudent, I think that we ought to look at that 1.7 million as almost like a contingency for GMP2. Now, the good news there is we've tackled the hardest part of GMP2, of the A and B remodeling. We are tackling the hardest part in phase 1. So, we're hoping to open fewer cans of worms. The substantial completion date, as you know, is July 25th for the cafe addition. The A and B remodel, which includes the student development area you saw as the phase 1, the board approved 28.3. The unspent contingencies on that right now is 2.2. That's all of our contingencies and allowances. But we do have allowances in there that we are anticipating we will be needing to spend during the next phases. And the substantial completion dates, we are bringing different areas online at different times, so they stagger. The substantial completion date for bookstore is June 10th. substantial completion date for enrollment center is June 29th. And what we call Dean Alley, that's the last one, that's August 5th. And then I'm going to let Mike talk, give you the update on the science building. That's it for my recap, but I did want to mention also the update that we send weekly. Mike and I are working with Ken to perhaps present more detail on a weekly basis.
So Dean Alley, is that where you put Stomper?
No, actually not Stomper. It will be Roland, Maureen Robinson going to
And
Dean
Robinson,
Alley.
okay.
Yep. All right, okay.
Just Dorothy, to kind of get an overall sense of this, it's all coming in at or under budget.
Correct, yeah.
I mean,
master
little
plan.
variations here and there, science building a little up
Exactly,
2%,
yes.
but you're making it out
Right,
somewhere else, because you said you had that one figure that was firm, the 87 million. that-
right, that's my magic number.
Yeah, so everybody knows that you're staying with that.
Right. As a matter of fact, you'll be seeing later tonight a furniture purchase for approval, and it's for this phase of the furniture purchase. And Mike and I put our heads together and we grouped what needs to be purchased in in our different projects, grouped it to get the economy of scale. And so the furniture purchase for this phase is right now a little bit under. So we're, keeping, that's where we want to be.
And then using it where you need it somewhere else.
Yeah, and I did also want to
Okay.
mention that the other associated expenses with the master plan construction, like moving, for example, that's covered in the master plan budget. Moving, abatement, final cleaning, that is covered in the master plan budget.
Okay, thank you.
Okay,
Thank you.
Mike?
Well, as we're speaking of budget, now I thought this is a good opportunity kind of just to give you an update on where we're at with the science building. So just to recap, where we're at today, the original contract for path construction was about $22.3 million. And that's built in over multiple phases. Phase one being the new building, that was about $19 million, and then the renovations would be about $3 million. So that's the total budget right now. As you can see on the slide, the CLC portion of this is about $12.2 million, and the state of Illinois portion is about $17.5 million. So where we're at today with as far as change orders, as far as additions, we've added about $74,000 worth of change orders, but we've also had about $20,000 worth of deductions. So the net, between the two is about $53,000 to date. So our total spend up to the end of March is just at about $9.8 million. So that gives you an idea of where we're at. Figuring with the projections with our $12.2 million, we think we can go until the end of June right now. So that's kind of our estimated completion. The substantial completion, as we're targeting through the Capital Development Board, is still August 2nd. So that's what we're holding the contract to right now.
Thank you.
Another question. The change order, the addition, 74,000, is that a cumulative figure or is that
It's
for the
multiple
total
change orders.
project?
Correct.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's less than probably 0.5% of the total
Yeah,
project right
that's
now.
pretty amazing.
So we've been keeping a real, good eye on any kind of change orders and tracking them. And then also as far as deletions too. So we're taking a look to see what we can do to delete things that we really don't need at this time. So, but kind of like Dorothy mentioned, phase 2, 3, 4, and 5 are renovations. This is mostly new construction, so you'll start to see a little bit more of that. But right now we're in good shape though.
Oh, so, okay,
Yeah.
with the renovation, you'll see more change order, more change. Because I'm expecting that to be 2% really,
Yeah, so
So
we're doing a good job of trying to keep it on
That's good.
budget. So.
All right.
I actually have two questions. One for you. The site still is very cleaned up. It doesn't really look like a very good work site. Are these guys,
So that has been documented. We brought it up with the Capital Development Board. The Capital Development Board is actually going to take a tour of the site. I think it's next week. And they've asked also to clean up as well. So during the past month, they have been doing a job of cleaning up. You'll see kind of a dumpster and a chute that's out there.
Good.
So on the interior, just workplace safety, they've been cleaning the site up and getting stuff out moved out of here. But the exterior as well is still in bad shape. There's a lot of stuff that's laying around, so that is being addressed.
Thank you, that's great to hear. And this is for the administration. Come the end of June and the governor doesn't get a turnaround agenda and we're still hanging on here. Have you guys started looking at contingencies to locally fund this possibly?
Yeah, Ken's gonna bring you in May, and it relates to Moody's, but a kind of plan and options of what we could do, and we want your input on that, so we're
Okay.
still working that up, so
All
I'll
right.
bring that to you.
All right.
Okay?
That's
And
it.
I've been practicing my plumbing skills.
That's plan B.
I heard you're a good sweat welder.
That's Plan Z.
Thanks, Mike.
All right.